What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Justin Gaethje has finally fired back at fans ahead of UFC 324, making it clear that he's had enough of the narrative surrounding his upcoming fight. In recent weeks, a growing portion of the fan base has begun favoring Paddy Pimblett, largely due to Pimblett's youth and perceived grappling advantage. Gaethje, however, sees that shift as short-sighted and disrespectful, calling out what he describes as a fickle and forgetful mindset among fans. According to Gaethje, many people are overlooking his resume and the level of competition he has faced throughout his career. He believes the sudden doubt surrounding his abilities ignores years of elite performances against the very best fighters in the sport. For Gaethje, the criticism isn't just frustrating, it's motivating. The tension escalated further when photos began circulating online showing marks on Gaethje's face. Some fans immediately speculated that he was dealing with a staph infection. Gaethje denied the claims outright, but instead of putting the rumors to rest, the denial only fueled more skepticism. Fans doubled down, accused him of hiding the truth, and began questioning his health and readiness heading into UFC 324. Despite the noise, Gaethje remains supremely confident in his preparation and his game plan. He believes Pimblett is being overrated and has openly pointed out flaws in his opponent's striking, particularly the tendency to leave his chin exposed. Gaethje sees those mistakes as opportunities, ones he fully intends to exploit. His strategy is clear: use experience, technical precision, and durability to drag the fight into deeper waters. Gaethje wants to push the pace, extend the fight into the later rounds, and test Pimblett in unfamiliar territory. While he insists the animosity isn't personal, he admits that the doubt from fans has added fuel to the fire. Gaethje is fully aware that Pimblett will come forward aggressively, but he believes mistakes are inevitable at this level. When those moments arise, Gaethje plans to capitalize. As the fight draws closer, his focus sharpens, his intensity rises, and his intention remains the same: to remind everyone exactly who he is and why he belongs among the elite. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all our latest content. Moving on to another news. A potential super fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev may be closer to reality than fans expected, following a surprising reveal from Merab Dvalishvili. The bantamweight contender recently shared details from a private conversation he had with Topuria, inadvertently leaking what appears to be major insider information regarding the UFC's future plans. According to Dvalishvili, discussions surrounding a Makhachev versus Topuria matchup are already taking place behind the scenes, suggesting the bout could materialize much sooner than previously believed. His comments align with recent reporting from ESPN journalist Alvaro Colmenero, who claimed the UFC may be forced to move quickly if Topuria does not return to the lightweight division in a timely manner. That situation carries serious implications for the division. If Topuria's return is delayed, the UFC could require the winner of Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett to defend the interim lightweight title against Arman Tsarukyan. This would ensure the division continues moving forward while the promotion waits for clarity on Topuria's status. The possibility alone highlights how tightly the lightweight title picture is being managed right now. Dvalishvili also revealed that he was recently off a high-profile grappling match against Tsarukyan. He immediately accepted the opportunity, expressing excitement at the chance to test himself against one of the most technically gifted fighters in the sport. Unfortunately, a minor training injury forced him to withdraw before the matchup could take place. Despite the setback, Dvalishvili made it clear that he remains eager for elite-level grappling challenges in the future. Looking ahead, Dvalishvili's own competitive path is shaping up quickly. He is expected to receive a bantamweight title shot later this summer, with the most likely scenario being a clash against the winner of Petr Yan versus Umar Nurmagomedov. That matchup hinges on Umar getting past Deiveson Figueiredo at UFC 324, a fight that could further complicate an already crowded division. With multiple weight classes potentially on the verge of major shakeups, Dvalishvili's comments have added fuel to the speculation. Between possible title fights, interim belt defenses, and crossover grappling opportunities, the UFC landscape appears poised for a dramatic stretch, and fans may not have to wait long to see it unfold. Moving on to another news. The UFC's lightweight title picture may remain stable for now, but new reporting suggests that interim defenses could soon become part of the equation. According to ESPN Spanish journalists Pape Ledesma and Alvaro Colmenero, widely regarded as two of the most reliable sources in Spanish MMA media, the UFC has no plans to strip Ilia Topuria of his lightweight championship. Instead, the promotion is reportedly willing to give Topuria as much time as he needs before returning to competition. The report makes it clear that the UFC views Topuria Topuria as a major star and has full confidence in his long-term role atop the division. Even if an interim title defense becomes necessary, the UFC is expected to follow a familiar blueprint. The situation would mirror what happened in the heavyweight division when Tom Aspinall held the interim belt while Jon Jones remained the undisputed champion. During Jones's absence, Aspinall was required to defend his interim title rather than being promoted to undisputed status. Applying that same logic to lightweight, it would not be surprising if the winner of the UFC 324 main event, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, were asked to defend the interim championship against Arman Tsarukyan while waiting for Topuria's return. Pimblett has already stated publicly that he would welcome that challenge if Topuria remains sidelined, signaling his willingness to stay active and prove himself against elite competition. Meanwhile, the UFC 324 main event continues to generate strong debate among fighters and analysts. On a recent episode of the Jackson podcast, Khalil Rountree and Demetrius Johnson shared opposing views on the matchup. One leaned toward Pimblett's momentum and evolution, while the other favored Gaethje's experience, durability, and elite-level preparation. Supporters of Gaethje highlighted his years of facing the very best fighters in the sport, noting his ability to remain composed in chaos and execute smart game plans under pressure. His experience against top-tier opponents was contrasted with Pimblett's resume, which, while impressive, has yet to fully match Gaethje's depth of competition. Ultimately, both analysts agreed on one thing. UFC 324's main event is a high-stakes, high-level fight with major consequences for the lightweight division. With interim title defenses, title unifications, and rising contenders all in play, the division appears headed for a pivotal and unpredictable stretch. Moving on to another news. Speculation surrounding a potential Conor McGregor fight at the UFC White House event has taken a new and unexpected turn after UFC President Dana White publicly shut down the possibility of McGregor facing Michael Chandler at the White House. A different rumor began circulating, one that has quickly captured the attention of fans and media alike. The new name being linked to McGregor is former BMF champion Jorge Masvidal. While the origins of the rumor remain unclear, it gained traction after a social media account posted the idea on X. Shortly afterward, Masvidal's management appeared to acknowledge the buzz, reacting to the post and fueling further speculation. Now, Masvidal himself has added another layer of intrigue with comments that suggest something significant may be in the works. In a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Masvidal hinted that he is preparing for a major opportunity tied to the White House event. Though he stopped short of confirming any opponent, his words were deliberately cryptic. Masvidal explained that the situation involves high-level access and sensitive details, which prevent him from speaking openly at this stage. However, he made it clear that he is actively training and expects major fight news to be announced soon. Masvidal emphasized that the upcoming opportunity is bigger than what most fans might anticipate, suggesting that the UFC could be planning something unconventional. He teased that clarity should arrive within the next couple of weeks, noting that final confirmation is still pending. While he neither confirmed nor denied a fight with McGregor, he also made no effort to shut the rumor down, leaving the door wide open for speculation. If the matchup were to materialize, it would mark one of the most marketable fights the UFC could book. McGregor and Masvidal are two of the biggest personalities in MMA history, both known for their knockout power, trash talk, and ability to command massive attention. A bout between them, especially on a symbolic stage like the White House, would instantly become one of the most talked about events in UFC history. The major question now is whether the UFC would be willing to sideline Michael Chandler in favor of this potential blockbuster. While nothing has been confirmed, Masvidal's comments suggest that the situation is very much alive. As fans wait for official word, the possibility of McGregor versus Masvidal continues to loom as one of the most intriguing what-if scenarios in the sport right now. Moving on to another news. Joe Rogan has once again sparked debate within the MMA community after openly criticizing the UFC's fighter pay structure and proposing radical changes to how fights are conducted. Speaking on a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the longtime UFC commentator admitted that if he were in charge of the promotion, he would likely mess up the business model, primarily because he would prioritize paying fighters significantly more. Rogan explained that he believes UFC athletes deserve a larger share of the revenue, even if it meant cutting into the company's overall profits. In his view, increasing fighter pay would be a necessary step toward fairness. regardless of how it might affect the organization's bottom line. While he joked about being a terrible businessman, Rogan made it clear that his perspective comes from years of watching fighters put their health and careers on the line. Beyond compensation, Rogan also floated the idea of fundamentally changing the structure of UFC fights. One of his most controversial suggestions was eliminating the cage entirely. Instead, Rogan proposed placing fighters on mats in the middle of a basketball court, arguing that the cage often acts as an artificial aid. According to him, fighters use the fence to stand back up, which can undermine the realism of grappling exchanges. Rogan also questioned the current round system, suggesting that fights should resume from the exact position where the previous round ended. He argued that a fight is a single continuous contest, not a series of separate bouts. Restarting fighters in a neutral standing position each round, he said, essentially resets the action and alters the natural flow of the fight. While Rogan's comments were thought-provoking, they also drew criticism. Many fans and analysts agree with his stance on fighter pay, noting that increasing compensation would not necessarily destroy the UFC's business model, though it could slightly reduce profit margins. However, his ideas about restarting fights on the ground and removing the cage were met with skepticism. Critics argue that such changes could lead to slower, less exciting fights, dominated by prolonged control from elite grapplers. Ultimately, Rogan's remarks highlight an ongoing conversation about fighter welfare, fairness, and the balance between sport and entertainment. While it's unlikely the UFC will adopt his proposed changes, the discussion underscores growing pressure on the promotion to re-examine how fighters are compensated. Whether radical reform or incremental improvement is the answer, Rogan's comments have once again forced the issue into the spotlight. Moving on to another news. Muhammad Usman, the younger brother of former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, has released a public statement addressing his 2.5-year suspension for violating the UFC's anti-doping policy. The heavyweight fighter shared the message on his Instagram account alongside a photo, using the platform to take responsibility for the situation and outline his mindset moving forward. In his statement, Usman acknowledged that the suspension stemmed from a mistake he made while attempting to recover during a difficult period. He admitted fault without deflection, emphasizing that he takes full responsibility for the violation. While he did not go into specific details regarding the substance involved, his message focused on accountability, reflection, and personal growth, rather than excuses. Usman explained that the lengthy suspension, while challenging, has also provided him with the opportunity to reset both physically and mentally. He noted that the time away from competition allowed him to prioritize his health, reconnect with his family, and gain a deeper appreciation for life outside of fighting. Expressing gratitude for his well-being, Usman highlighted how the experience has reshaped his perspective, reminding him of the importance of simply being healthy and present. Throughout the statement, Usman struck a tone of humility and optimism. He stressed that he is taking things one day at a time and remains committed to personal development and doing things the right way as he prepares for an eventual return to the sport. Rather than dwelling on the setback, he framed the suspension as a learning experience that has reinforced his values and long-term goals. Usman also took a moment to thank those who have continued to support him during this period. He expressed gratitude toward the UFC for maintaining communication, as well as to Rashad Evans, Ali Abdelaziz, Brian, and his coaching team for standing by him throughout the process. Their support, he said, has played a key role in helping him remain focused and motivated during his time away from competition. As he looks ahead, Usman made it clear that his focus is on growth, discipline, and moving forward with integrity. While the suspension represents a significant pause in his career, his message signals a desire to return stronger, wiser, and more appreciative of the opportunity to compete at the highest level once again. Moving on to another news. Israel Adesanya has responded to comments made by Joe Pyfer ahead of their upcoming clash, which is set to headline UFC Seattle on March 28th. The middleweight matchup has already drawn significant attention, and recent remarks from Pyfer added an unexpected layer of mutual respect to the buildup. In a recent interview, Pyfer spoke highly of Adesanya, recalling their interaction during a past weigh-in. He noted that Adesanya, known for his outspoken personality, appeared unusually quiet and focused at the time. According to Pyfer, Adesanya separated himself from the chaos, locked in, and clearly put in the work behind the scenes. Pyfer said that moment left a lasting impression and earned his respect. Pyfer went on to praise Adesanya's resilience, pointing to his ability to bounce back from adversity. He highlighted Adesanya's recent knockout victory over an opponent who had previously beaten him by both knockout and decision, calling it a powerful example of mental toughness. Pyfer described that mentality as that dog life, explaining that he relates to what it takes to perform at the highest level while facing constant criticism. He also addressed the harsh reality of public perception, noting how even after major victories, fighters continue to be disrespected online. Pyfer referenced seeing fans, including people he personally knows, still dismiss Adesanya's accomplishments despite his success. He emphasized that critics often fail to understand the pressure fighters face and the difficulty of competing at the elite level, adding that most people could never do what fighters do. Adesanya later responded directly to Pyfer's comments by leaving a message on the video. In his reply, Adesanya acknowledged their previous interaction and expressed respect in return, writing that Pyfer had always been cool. However, he made it clear that mutual respect would not change what happens inside the cage, stating that now they both have to do what needs to be done. The exchange has set a unique tone for the fight. While the matchup carries high stakes and competitive intensity, it is also built on professionalism and acknowledgement of each other's journey. As UFC Seattle approaches, fans can expect a high-level contest between two fighters who respect one another, but are fully prepared to test each other when it matters most.